But Chris is here. He's all the way from Washington, D.C. And he has an MBA. He is an industrial engineer, and as well as a real estate agent. He has property in Greenville and several other places across the state. So he's going to come, and he's just going to share with you all. So we ask that you just give him your undivided attention. So we're going to welcome at this time none other than Mr. Chris Baker.
How's everybody doing this afternoon?
Great.
Okay, as Brian said, all right, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Yeah. All right, so as Brian said, we've been knowing each other for a long time. And one thing I want to get into is a little bit about my background. I have my master's in industrial engineering from North Carolina A&T State University, Aggie Pride, in industrial engineering and operations research. I also have my MBA in finance from the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm a real estate investor. But going back into my engineer career, my main job, I work for the Department of Defense, specifically the Department of the Navy, the federal government, the biggest municipality in the land. And to all my young people out there, pretty much I build ships, battleships. One of the ships that I manage is a mobile landing platform in Norfolk, Virginia, at Norfolk Naval Station in Virginia. It's a $500 million ship, $500 million. I work with billion-dollar budgets with a B, and that's actually a small amount compared to our federal budget every year. Over to the real estate side, I own two real estate companies, one real estate holdings company and one property management company. So right here in Greenville, North Carolina. Okay, now I came a long way. I came from Washington, D.C. I just drove this morning. I got here around like 2 o'clock. My wife is actually pregnant. She's due at the end of March, so I had to run down here, and as soon as we're done here, I got to run back. So I came a long way, so I'm going to need you guys' participation. All right, so are you guys going to help participate with me? Yeah. Okay. Kids out there, you going to participate? Yeah! All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, before we even start, you have the, okay. All right, so before we even start, I want everybody in the room to do this. Put your finger on your head like this. Everybody. Came a long way to participation. All right, now I want you to say, use it. Use it. All right, say it again. Use it. Use it. Okay, you can put your hand down now. All right, so before this presentation, I wanted to make sure I stayed on topic because I love to speak. I can stand up here all day. So, and I won't do it either. So, I had to go back to the invitation that Brian sent me just to make sure I addressed what I needed to address. So let's look at the invitation, and in the invitation it had a mission statement. Can you guys hear me? Yes! All right. So the invitation says, or the mission statement says, it is our vision to encourage our youth during African American History Month that they too can overcome obstacles to be successful in life. In order to achieve this vision, we need the assistance of our parents, our community members, our public figures, just like today, so that together we may educate young people on the importance of furthering their education and the vast career opportunities that are open to each and every one of you. Now, that is a very powerful statement. Why? because it's so true. Now, this is the second slide, but a couple of things are highlighted. One, in your life, you're going to have to go through obstacles to be successful. A lot of obstacles. And I know the adults can attest to this, right? Yeah. A lot of obstacles. Two, assistance from parents, community members, and public figures. Basically, it takes a village to raise a child. This is so true. Three, educate young people on the importance of furthering their education. You need to learn that you need to learn and continue learning. It never stops. It sounds crazy, but people don't know that they need to continue to learn. They think they finish school and that's it. And the world passes them by. Happens all the time. And three, vast career opportunities that are open to you. This is the most important part of the statement. It's very important. And all of this pretty much sums up what it takes to be successful. So, what is success? My definition is the ability to identify, seize, and accomplish opportunities that are put in front of you. So, how do we do this? That's the $1 million question, right? I want everybody to do this. Use it. All right, now, the hardest thing when putting together this message was being able to address the entire audience. Okay, from what I see, we have people from elementary school all the way up to full-grown adults. So raise your hand if you're in elementary school. Okay? Raise your hand if you're in middle school. Okay? High school. Okay? College. All right? Out of college. Okay. All right, so I want to present something meaningful to everybody. So I'm going to give you 4 short stories. Hopefully it won't take too long. But everybody can get something from the stories, but each story is geared toward a specific age group. So let's start with the first. All right, my first story was when I was in the 8th grade. So all of my elementary schoolers and middle schoolers, this is for you. So when I was in the 8th grade, I took Algebra 1. Now, Algebra 1 was an advanced class. If you did well in 7th grade, you were eligible for Algebra 1 rather than 8th grade math. So I took the class, wasn't much to it. You know, it was a regular class like any other class, right? So it came down to the first test. All right? Took the test with no problem, right? Then we got our test back. All right, so the teacher didn't give us our test directly. She assigned us a number, and then she assigned the number and put the corresponding grade on a sheet of paper and put it right outside the class. So we got our first grades back. So I went outside, took a piece of paper. All the kids were looking up their numbers, looking up their grades. I waited for everybody to clear out. I walked up, went to my number, went to my grade. I was like, hold on, that can't be right, hold on. Did it again, went up to my number, went to my grade. I was like, no, that's definitely not right. I did it a third time. Went up, went over. You'll never guess what I made. I made a 32 out of 100 on my first test. Get this, like, you can double that and it'll still be failing. Right? So, naturally, the teacher pulled me to the side. She's like, Chris, I don't think you're going to cut it. And right then and there, that lit a fire under me. Of course, I was upset, but I looked around at my classmates. They were just like me. I knew I was just as smart. So, right then and there, I wanted to prove myself to myself. Right? I mean, yeah, I wanted to prove it to the teachers. I wanted to prove it to my parents. But I just wanted to prove it to myself first because I knew I could do it. So over the next few weeks, I studied not until I thought I knew the material, but until I knew the material. And then came time for the next test. Guess what I made? 105. Then the next test, 105. All the way through the school year. So, with that opportunity, and I don't call it a failure, I call it an opportunity, I developed the confidence in my ability to learn. I'm going to say it again. I developed confidence in my ability to learn. And that is the takeaway. Right now, you elementary schoolers, hey, pay attention. Yeah, you, right there. Right now is the time to start building your confidence. So what does that look like? You get an assignment, you work on it. It might be too hard, you might get tired and bored, but you don't stop. Keep pushing. It's like an exercise. You're exercising your mind. It's hard, but you have to tell yourself, keep pushing. And then after a while, you keep pushing, and you're done. You did it. You look back and said, I did that. Hey, look, I did it. And as a result, you get a little more confident. And then you move on to the next assignment, to the next class. You do it. I did that. You get a little bit more confident. And then after a while, if you start now building your confidence, when you go to college or when you start your career, your confidence is going to be so maxed out, you'll be able to do anything. So, for all my young people, build your confidence. It starts now. Okay? So, next, I have my high schoolers. All right? So this story doesn't deal too much with academics, and it happened during high school, so I'll say this. There are skills outside of school that you need to develop to be successful. Now, as the older you get, the more and more money becomes part of your life. Sad fact, but it's true. But in high school, don't worry too much about money. But I had the academic talent. I was building my math and science skills. But the story right now is geared towards building my natural creative talent, which is very important. So as a kid, I was always drawing. Who ever seen Dragon Ball Z before? Dragon Ball Z, I love Dragon Ball Z. And as a kid, what I would do is I'll take a VHS tape, and I don't know if you kids know about VHSs, but had a VHS tape, right? And I would take the VHS tape, record my favorite episode, pause it, and I would draw it as fast as I could before the VHS would like automatically stop by itself. So I had like 20 minutes. So I did that before high school. So during high school, it translated into me being more creative. So I was into style and like making sure like I was fresh and making sure I learned how to cut my own hair. I mean, I wasn't the best, but I learned how to do it. And I mean, I made sure that, you know, my shirts were ironed, my shoes were perfect, and I went to school, right? So fast forward, I was in the barbershop one day, and I mean, I know I said I cut my own hair, but I still need to go to the barbershop because I wasn't perfect, you know, so don't judge me. So I saw one of my friends in the barbershop. He came in, and it was a big commotion, and everybody was looking at his shoes, and he had on some white Air Forces. And back in my day, white Air Forces was a big deal. So what he had was, whoever seen Rugrats, the cartoon? He had Rugrats fabric on the toe and on the check, like it was a custom shoe. Everybody was on it. And I saw it, and I was like, it's fresh, but I think I can do better than that. I'm not taking anything away from him, but the way it was done, like I'm a visual person, right? And I was like, I know I can do it. So right then and there, I left the barbershop and I went straight to Walmart. And I bought some American flag fabric. And because it was the 4th of July was coming up, so I was like, I'm gonna get some 4th of July shoes, you know, so I could be cool with my friends. So I went home, and what I did was, I took the glue and put it on the shoe. I think what he did was make a stencil, cut it out, and then put the glue on the fabric and then put it on the shoe. I put the glue on the shoe, pressed the fabric down, let it dry for an hour, then I took a razor blade and cut along the indention, right? Pulled off the extra fabric and it looked perfect. So I got excited. I did the check on the other side, the check on the other side, the other shoe, and I raced out to my friend's house and I showed them and they were going crazy. First thing they said was, come do ours too. I was like, oh, okay, I don't care, you know, I'm gonna be fresh. My friends are going to be fresh. So I did all their shoes, right? 4th of July came. We went down to Greenville Town Commons, downtown. All the kids were just following us around. And mind you, these were old shoes. These were old beat up shoes because I wasn't going to do a new shoe like that. Right? So, but nobody cared. It just looked so good. People just gravitated towards it. Now, word got out, and it happened. One of my friends from school asked me to do their shoes for money. For money. And I was like, I'm on the hot seat now. But the thing about it was, I never really thought about doing it for money. I just like perfecting the craft of it. You know, sitting in the house, you know, perfecting it. But what really got me was, he went and bought a brand new pair of shoes. Brand new pair of shoes. Him and his dad drove to my house, dropped them off. And when I tell you I put my heart and soul in the shoes, they came out perfect, right? So, while I'm here, let me ask y'all, do y'all think that me doing his shoes felt like work to me? No. Of course not. I didn't care about that. I just wanted to make the best thing that I could have made, right? And I honestly don't remember how much he paid me. It was probably like $25 or $30, but I really didn't care about that. So, what I would say is, it doesn't matter, or you don't only learn what you need to learn in the classroom, you also can further your education outside of the classroom by nurturing your God-given talent and abilities. Nurture your creativity. It's very important. And just don't do it when you're at home. Go outside. Go in the community. See what people are doing. See what people want. And then look at how that aligns with your creative talent. Provide services and products that increase your creative talent. And don't always do it for money. Increase your creative talent. So if you're in high school, you need to be thinking about this. So what does that look like? You all know what you're good at. Think about it. You all know what you're good at. If you're into cars, go to a body shop. Go to the manager and say, hey, I'm into cars. I'll work for free. Yes, I'll work for free. You know, learn how to paint. Learn how to do tint. Learn how to do car stereos. Learn how to do engines. Work on your car. Then work on your friend's car. And then work on your classmate's car. Perfect your talent. If you like writing, get with your friends. Write a play. Make a production. Cast your classmates. Do it in front of the school. Do it in front of your church. The church ain't going to let you lose. Even if it's not that good, they're going to big you up. So work all the kinks out during church. But I say this, what I'm saying is foster your talents. Be creative. It's so important. All right? So I'm about to wrap up in a second. Now, to all my college folks. Now, as I say again, the older you get, the more money becomes important in your life. I hate to say it, but it does. So just remember that. So this is a relevant story for you guys. So my major in college was engineering, specifically industrial engineering. Again, I was good at math and science. Why? Because as a youth, I focused on building my confidence in those fields. And in engineering, it's a profession that heavily relies on math and science. So I made the good grades in college. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Enough with the classroom stuff. Man, I was in college. I was out of my parents' house. I was in a new city. I was with my friends. It was girls everywhere. Y'all didn't hear that? But I was broke. I didn't have any money coming in. I mean, I had a meal plan, so I wasn't starving, but, you know, I wanted things. I wanted, like, Jordans. I wanted fresh clothes, you know? And what was crazy was I wanted, like, all the young and dumb things that, you know, young adults want when they're fresh out of school or fresh out of college, or no, fresh out of your parents' house, excuse me. So some of my friends got jobs, and the ones that did, they were never around because they were always working. And college is like more about experiences and being social, which is very important. I didn't want to be like that, so what did I do? I used this. I got creative. I used my creativity to identify opportunities in my surroundings and environment. So what did that look like?